the Super Speedway.
Yeah, Kyle got a little loose there on the flat.
It stays green, now it goes yellow.
Huh. Got away from him on the apron.
He saved it going pretty fast earlier, didn't he?
I'm sure you know that whenever you have a spin like the one you had, there's going to be questions. So can you kind of take me through your spin? Thanks.
Nope.
I'm sorry?
Nope.
You're not going to explain what happened.
Nope.
Thank you.
Welcome to episode 186 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, got to get the KB audio in there, right?
KFB. It's always nice to have Bob Pockrass grace our podcast as well.
Exactly. Anytime I can get Bob's voice in there. I love that Bob keeps getting shout-outs on TV, too. Boyer keeps calling him out on TV. I love it.
Yeah, Bob trying not to laugh. Yeah, like you could tell he's like, oh, you're not going to answer my question.
Right. It's good stuff.
So good.
So the nice thing about this is, and we'll discuss the Kyle Busch issue in a little bit. But Kyle, once again, James, earns a spot on the old soundboard.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Perfect.
So we've got, so far for Kyle, we have.
Am I a positive person?
We have.
KFB. We got beat.
There we go.
That's so great.
Kyle gives us the good sound bites, man. That's what he's good for.
We so before the race Sunday, I had race day on, and or race hub, I guess it's called now, right?
Yeah.
But they were going through like the past Vegas races, and my wife walked into the room and they were replaying the Kyle Busch fight with Joey Logano.
Right.
So great, so great.
Stuff.
Oh man, it's just great. That was just so much fun.
It's good.
Kyle and Joey. That was one of our first podcasts, if I'm not mistaken. We were still young in the game back then.
Pretty early. Was that the first season of the pod?
I think it might have been. Yeah, that was the old. And then JeffGluck.com took off after that. So yeah, that was I think our foray into the podcasting world. We were only a few episodes in.
I think you're right. That would have been pretty early. That's probably like the second or third episode.
Good memories, my man. Good memories.
Yeah, definitely. So we were at Las Vegas. Well, we weren't, but NASCAR was at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this weekend. It was the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube. And James, we got another surprising winner.
I'm saying it's a surprise.
I don't think you can call it a surprise because did we not predict? I mean, honestly, everybody's saying, wow, we didn't expect him to win this early. Kyle Larson got in a late model this year, a modified. And didn't he win like his first race ever in one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he won like 150 races last year or something ridiculous
so
like that.
He's in one of the best possible cars he could be in the Cup Series right now.
Why
would we not expect him to win 4 weeks into the season?
4 weeks into the season. And are we going into the season, were we sure that Hendrick had the best stuff at 1.5 mile tracks?
I think we had a pretty good inkling that Hendrick had some good stuff.
But Kyle Larson winning at 1.5 miles, I mean, I'm still a little bit stunned that, listen, if he would have won this race any other way, I would have been like, yeah, okay. But dude flat out dominated this race.
He was my pick last week, James.
Woof.
I mean, so I guess he did it a week later than I was expecting him to do it. I wasn't surprised by it. I mean, I guess, if you sit here and look at it, and we look at the drivers who've won races so far this year, none of them are frequent winners. I mean, obviously 2 of them had never won before in the Cup Series. Right. The other one had only won once, and Larson doesn't have a ton of wins in the Cup Series. But, we all kind of felt that if Larson was able to get in good equipment or better equipment, that
we always believed it. We always believed it.
And I don't think you needed to see this season start to realize it when you saw what he did this summer. Or last summer, I mean.
There's no doubt the man can drive. I mean, he can drive. He's probably the most talented driver behind the wheel that we got, right? Yeah. I mean,
I would argue that, yes, especially if you're saying not just Cup driver, but all around best racer. Yeah, this is an AJ Foyt type of driver right here.
Yeah, he's the best wheel. I mean, he's in the wheelman conversation with what you said, AJ Foyt. So that means like Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson never gets the credit.
No offense to you as a Tony Stewart fan. Tony Stewart's got a lot of talent. This kid's got more. This kid's got
yeah,
more than Tony did
at a
in
younger
his
age.
heyday.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you. Kyle Larson can sling. Um, eh, yes, I mean they're cut from the same cloth, but yes, yeah. I mean Kyle Larson's got that. He has it, Eric.
I would argue if Kyle Larson announced next week that he had a ride in the Indy 500, that he would go out and compete for a win in the Indy 500 this year.
Yeah. This is the guy that Jeff Gordon was gushing about when he was still racing Xfinity Series.
Yep.
Like, and we all thought, wow, this Kyle Larson guy is going to be the next big thing. And then you see the difference in Hendrick Motorsports and Ganassi Racing.
Yep.
Just by he's been out for a year, comes back and he's competed in every race so far. I mean, he was leading the Roval, or not the Roval, the Daytona Road Course. He was leading, or he was up front at the Daytona 500. He was good last week. Finished second last week. So
yeah, he was a race winning contender at the road course at Daytona.
So is he Eric? Is he going to put a Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin season together from this? Is this the first of 7 wins this year possibly?
Let me put it this way: he's the first one I'm worried about running a bunch off.
Yeah, he that performance, Eric. I mean, we went into the you and I talked last week, and we were throwing out our names. We thought Harvick, we thought Truex.
Yep.
The Penske guys. We even were worried. We kind of were worried about the Penske guys, but they showed up.
Yeah.
This week, but Kyle Larson, if he's going to do this, if this is what his season is going to look like, especially on the mile and a half. So I know we're not racing as many. We've got more road courses this year, but I mean, gosh, Eric, Bristol Dirt's coming up. Atlanta's coming up. I mean, heck, he's going to be good at. He's
before this weekend. He won his last win was at Dover.
Yep.
He's
Richmond.
Yeah,
he's won Richmond.
You got Michigan that he's won at.
Think of all the playoff tracks we're talking about here too, where we're where you've got.
And like I said, I mean, he was in contention at Daytona on the road course till he crashed. Yep. So now add 6 road courses to the mix too.
Yeah. Well, and the best road course driver in the series is on his team, and some of that is obviously a lot of it's driver, but
right.
Some of that's the equipment too. You're not as dominant as Chase Elliott is without having the good stuff.
Be prepared, everybody, because I did listen to Door Bumper Clear again today before the podcast, so there'll probably be a bunch of DBC references in this. But they pointed out in their podcast this week, which I guess I wasn't paying much attention to, that Hendrick made the switch to ECR engines. And
they teamed up.
It was late last year that it started to happen, and then now into this season. And if you look at when it was suspected that relationship began, and you look at the performance of the Hendrick cars, which they were decent last year all year, but they really took off at the end of the season. And then you also look at the performance of the RCR cars, you start to see maybe this partnership really is benefiting these two teams.
Well, it's definitely benefiting Hendrick, and dang it, DBC, you took I wanted to get to this point, so dang it. But that's okay. But yeah,
they are professionals, James. We're not, so
they are. I know we're stealing everything from them probably. But at the end of the day, you've got, like you said, Eric, you've got RCR running better. You've got Hendrick has definitely benefited from this relationship.
Yep.
As far as we can see, I mean, Eric, all the Hendrick cars were up front at some point. I mean, in the mix. I mean, Bowman's up there, but you look at the finishing order. This is, I don't know, man. This is by far the best Hendrick has looked, I think, in quite a while.
Yeah.
Byron's running consistently well. Chase was up front. He had his issues. He spun, but battled back for 13th. But I mean, it's you got to be happy if you're Rick Hendrick right now. You've got 2 winners, and Eric, thinking about this too. You've got 3 guys in the playoffs. Maybe if we don't have 20 winners this year. But if Kyle Larson's going to keep ripping off wins, you've got 3 guys in the playoffs now that weren't in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Plus the 4th guy in Byron, who we weren't sure is he fringe or not. He's in.
Right.
So we've got a mixed up playoffs already, looking ahead, and Larson just added to it.
Yeah. Another thing that's really easy to forget on this whole deal, because there's still a 48 car on the track, and this car didn't exist last year. This is the 48 team. I mean,
this is Jimmy's team.
48 team got a win, which is awesome. They had struggled in the last couple seasons, and last year had some moments of brilliance with Jimmy, and obviously you could see the improvement coming there leading into this season. So, good on Kyle to be able to get it done for them early in the season too. What do you say, James, to that HendrickCars.com on the side of the car? Probably not going to be out at a whole lot more races.
He keeps winning like this. Yeah, I mean, if he puts the season together, this is why Rick Hendrick went after this guy.
I'm willing to bet there's a lot of sponsors with money in their pockets right now that have just been waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he's and I think too, Eric, kudos to, I don't want to see the picture anymore, and I hate that I'm bringing it up even because I think it's been overdone just a little bit, but Bubba Wallace going out there didn't do it for the picture,
right?
But helped bury this thing that Larson's going to be dealing with, and we should always still hold him accountable, and it's part of his legacy. But this win does not erase history, but it sure as heck does help move forward.
Well, and that's
not just him, the entire sport.
I was gonna ask that, James. Like, I don't want to minimize anything that happened because it was bad and it was wrong, and
he knows it.
And Larson paid the price for it. But are we done with it now? Can we be done with it? And Kyle Larson's just another racer in the series, and Fox can stop being afraid to talk about him, and we can just go back to normal.
Yeah, I wish it was that simple. Honestly.
I know, right?
I want it to be done. But Eric, when Kyle Larson got out of that car after that win, that was a subdued Kyle Larson from my
it's been a subdued
experience.
Kyle Larson. Even if you look at the interviews he did all summer long last year when he was winning races, he's not in your face. I showed you. He's very subdued. I think one thing that we've lost from Kyle is that Kyle was never super outspoken, but he had his moments where he would speak out and then he'd regret it. And I think we've lost something in Kyle Larson. You're not going to see Kyle Larson be an outspoken driver. He's going to be very, very gun shy, and that's too bad. But obviously, again, what he did was wrong, and I don't want to dwell on it because I don't even want to talk about it anymore at all. But
we don't need to.
I hope Kyle's able to feel comfortable talking again and can have some personality and not just be this guy that's super quiet because he's afraid of offending somebody.
Yeah, and I think for us, Eric, for us two white dudes on this podcast,
right,
this might be the end of us ever talking about this thing.
Yeah.
We can't say a whole heck of a lot, but
until he's in the running for the championship and he wins the title at the end of the season, and we're all talking about it again.
I know that's the legacy thing I mentioned though, Eric. This is part of his legacy. For all we know, Eric, the next 10 or 12 years could be Kyle Larson's. He could become maybe one of the greatest drivers in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
But it's always going to be a footnote, unfortunately, for him. But hey, listen, I love watching this guy drive. Always have, and I'm so glad he's back. He is such a talent.
Yeah. He needs to be in the Cup Series.
I was rooting for him to win this race.
Premier American racing series. He needs to be in this racing series.
Yep, and I am glad he's back. I was pulling for him at the end of the race last week. Just super, super excited for him because he's paid his dues in the eyes of many, and I know he's got many, many more to go. But he should be allowed to have a life. And Rick Hendrick, he's got a very cheap Kyle Larson right now, and hopefully he's using those funds wisely moving forward because. Yeah. If Kyle's going to keep ripping off wins, he's not going to be cheap for very long. He's super, super talented and going to be worth a pretty penny here probably pretty soon.
I agree. We do this every time something like this happens. But is Kyle Larson now the title favorite?
Boy,
is it too early to make that statement?
I don't know. The races I've seen from that guy so far, I
think he's going to be a contender.
I will say this: Rick Hendrick is the title favorite with what he's got going on with Chase and Byron and Larson now. Rick Hendrick is definitely a title favorite. You put the names in a hat and pick one right now. But definitely Kyle Larson looks like he might be the lead dog.
Let me put it this way,
which is strange with a champion.
Right. Let me put it this way: with the 4 winners we've had so far, this Larson is by and large the favorite of those 4.
I think so, but I will not discount William Byron.
No,
just
me
yet.
neither.
There's something about the way he's been driving this year too that's really. I mean, he's led some laps again on Sunday.
Dude, I could see a final 3 that is 3 Rick Hendrick cars. I
I
don't see
wouldn't-
Bowman being in the final 4, but who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, who knows?
So
I don't know. I definitely think you might, maybe, with Stuart Haas stepping back, it looks like possibly here. The
Right.
door's definitely open for Hendrick
well,
to
so
get
here's the thing, though.
into the Gibbs camp.
Let's talk about Stuart Haas
Well,
for a second.
I've got some things to say about this, but I'm going to let you go first because I think you and I are probably going to say the same thing here.
If you really think to Stuart Haas and how successful Stuart Haas has been,
It's a one-car deal. Right?
exactly, one car has been successful the past couple years, and when that one car starts to struggle now, then it just becomes a lot more obvious that the whole team wasn't that great. You got Hendrick right now that's literally firing on, all cylinders. Even Bowman. I mean, Bowman's not winning, but Bowman's up there too. He's just doing what Bowman does and is quietly in the running, although he finished 27th.
We're heading to Phoenix this week, so I wouldn't count him out just yet.
Again, he finished 27th, but he was in the top 10 in both the first 2 stages. So he's there. He's in the running. And Harvick just kind of tanked at the end of last season, and we just haven't seen him come back. And
to be fair to Kevin Harvick, he was 3 for 3 on top 10s to start the season. It's not
that
like
is true. That is true.
Not like he's out. This could be an aberration.
No, but this was a track that everybody expected him to come out and be very much a contender, and he just wasn't there.
Yeah. It's kind of like with Jimmy Johnson. We never really wanted to pour dirt on the guy. Like he was in the hole, and we knew Jimmy was in the hole, but we didn't want to put the shovel in our hands.
The problem is that I buried Jimmy so many times only to have his hand come up through the dirt.
I know exactly, and I'm not going to do that to Rodney and Kevin.
No, I'm not ready to do it for Harvick yet either.
Yeah, those guys build fast race cars, and I have no doubt that this is not where they're going to be. They may not win a handful of races like they did last year, but they're not done.
Oh, Harvick's going to come out next week and make us all look like idiots.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's what he's going to do. He's going to come out and just dominate a couple races, and suddenly he'll be the championship favorite again, and he'll come out of nowhere. Or he'll do the thing where he just, nobody talks about him all day long, and all of a sudden the checkered flag waves, and Harvick just won. How did that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
They call him the closer on Fox for a reason, because it's legit.
That guy's not done.
No, I agree. James, we talked outside of the podcast, and I think we were both in agreement. First of all, let me just say, not only was this a great race, but we've raced at 4 tracks this year, and I'm trying to think. We've had only one weekend where all 3 series didn't run. Am I wrong? I don't remember a race yet this year that hasn't been a good race. I mean, the Daytona 500 might be the closest.
The Daytona 500 had a bad stretch, but it was not a bad race.
It still was a good race.
Daytona 500.
Right.
No, this
it's been a good season for all 3 series.
Yeah, and this rules package just hit this weekend.
Man,
I think the perfect conditions, but Eric, those restarts were unbelievable.
And
it was
the thing was like I was at Chicagoland a couple years ago, and I was at Kentucky, and got to see this package with restarts, which are insane. Chicagoland restarts with this aero package were spectacular, but they were 3 laps long, and then it spread out. This was like 10 laps of it. It was nuts. 3 wide for the lead.
I know.
For multiple laps.
We were gushing about Homestead last week.
Yeah,
and
this blew Homestead away.
And it takes a lot to beat Homestead as far as when you're talking about 1 mile and mile and a half, type tracks. It's tough to beat Homestead, and my God,
if we could see this performance every week out of this package, you would never hear me complain about this package again.
Yeah, I would. Yep, I'd be screaming from the mountaintops. I was wrong. You did it. You did it. But
I think this package was very much created for I'm not intentionally, but this package is made for Las Vegas and Charlotte. Yeah, I think those are the 2 best tracks for this aero package.
Yeah, and I wonder too. The track seems to have a little bit of wear and tear going into it now.
Well,
being out there in
that's the other thing that we've run into. And James, this is my reasoning for thinking that we've seen such good races, is that all these tracks that we've been so frustrated with for so long have finally weathered. They're all getting to that Chicagoland, California area where suddenly these tracks that have sucked for years are good. And so far, the only one that hasn't shown that is Michigan, unfortunately. But the rest of them are getting to that sweet spot. And so it really sucked that we repaved a bunch of tracks within a couple of year period, but now we're seeing the benefits of it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of factors that I think played into what we saw on Sunday, but Eric, I couldn't take my eyes off the TV, and that doesn't happen with. I mean, I love NASCAR as much as the next guy, and but there are times when I dabble in other things. When you've got when you got kids running around and things like that, it takes your attention.
The first stage of racing in this race is the best. I'll go out on a limb and say it was the best stage of racing we've seen with this aero package yet.
Oh, it's this whole race.
The whole race was good, but that first stage was awesome.
This package has never been better than it was on Sunday, and unfortunately, we don't know if we're going to see it this way ever again.
Right.
Like we can't predict it at this point, but.
I think we saw the perfect storm in that it was overcast. It was cool for Las Vegas. This aero package is made for night racing. This aero package is made for cool and overcast temperatures. You put the sun on it. The sun is great for the low downforce, high horsepower package, but this high downforce, low horsepower, man, it needs clouds and cool weather, and it performs. And so, I don't know. It didn't feel like, even like James, it didn't feel like we had the issues with people using aero to mess people up behind them. It seemed like you couldn't get out to a big lead. The guy in second had the advantage, and I don't know. It just was the perfect storm this weekend.
Well, this was what we had texted about this too, but this was exactly when they first did the test at Las Vegas, and you and I came on the podcast because we're like, we have to do an emergency pod. That test was incredible. This is what we thought we were getting every week. This is what we wanted to see delivered about this rules package. Unfortunately, it's coming to the end. We don't have very many left.
Right.
With the new car coming in next year, we don't have this. And
we still don't know what we're getting there. I mean, I know. I'm optimistic that they're gonna announce that's gonna run the All-Star race at Texas. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would too. Hopefully, we have some cars, but we just don't know just quite yet what we're gonna see there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This gosh, I'm conflicted because we've been screaming about how awful this rules package is forever.
I know. Just last week we declared it dead.
I know. It's so dumb. I don't know. We have no idea what's going on.
We talked about Kevin Harvick's struggles. Matt DiBenedetto had a good performance in this race, and then from my understanding, they had a lug nut or a lug wrench break on the last pit stop, and one of their tires they couldn't change, and therefore they had to limp it home and ended up with a poor finish out of the deal. But saw some promise there at least. I mean, he finished 16th. It was a top 20 finish, but not where he ran all day, and not what we were hoping out of Matt DiBenedetto at Vegas.
Yeah, and especially with the points that he's needed this year. He finally got a decent points day. 24 points is, he's been struggling.
Yeah, finished 8th in the first stage, so he got a top 10 in the first stage, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah, the speed seems to be there, so I think there's some positives there, but there's some pressure on that 21 team right now, and that driver as well to start getting some stuff done. And when you have a bad break like that, you just gotta roll with it. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And with how bad he's been, he's starting in the back every week, so it's not gonna improve here unless he starts running up front a little bit more.
Yeah, that is one issue with the way we're doing qualifying and stuff, is that it definitely once you get in that hole, it's hard to dig out of it.
Right.
Kyle Larson led almost half the race, 103 laps. Second most laps led by Denny Hamlin, who finished 4th. He led 47, 4 times for 47 laps. Brad Keselowski led the Penske bunch, who all had decent performances on the day for the most part, other than Logano and DiBenedetto, who fell back at the end. Keselowski finished second, leading 27 laps. Logano ended up 9th, so he still got a top 10 finish out of the deal. Ryan Blaney 5th. He led a lap out of the day.
My favorite top 10 performance, though, I bet you can guess who that is.
I don't know. Who's that?
Eric
KB?
Jones.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Eric Jones gets a top 10 finish before Bubba does.
Yeah, Eric Jones. So good, man.
Yeah.
So good. That was a great run. Like, look who is in front of that car.
Yeah.
Penske, Hendrick Gibbs. That's it.
Yep.
That's who beat Eric Jones on Sunday.
Yep.
I'm just happy for him. I didn't know if he could get Vegas is one of those. I'm just crossing that off, that Eric Jones is not going to get a good run this week. But my God, that's awesome. A top 10 for that team is basically a win.
Yeah, I mean, having a good performance on a 1.5 mile track, especially a traditional 1.5 mile track like this one, bodes well for the rest of the season.
If he can top 15 his way through these 1.5 miles and somehow find a way to win, I mean he's got a good possibility to have a pretty decent season out of this thing. Which, Eric, I don't know if you heard this week though too that Eric Jones does have an opt-out on his contract for next year.
I think we knew that. I think there news came out about that a while ago.
I know it got kind of relit in the highlights. I heard David Smith talking about it, and I think he actually wrote a piece about it. I haven't had a chance to read it though. But yeah, Eric Jones, this could definitely be a year to show yourself a little bit. So good on him getting those performances in when he can. So we'll take those top 10s every week for that guy.
Yep. Eric Almirola, another bad day for him, finishes dead last, 38th in an accident.
Popped a tire.
Yep. I'm trying to think who else is worth mentioning in this one. Kurt Busch, who was one I expected to do well here after winning last year, finishes 19th.
Never really a factor. He was up front for a little bit, had a little contact with Chase.
Right. Mentioned Bubba Wallace. He finishes 28th with, I think, power steering issues on that car.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and then I don't know if you do this too, but Anthony Alfredo led a lap and was up there with that fuel strategy, that long pit strategy that they were doing with McDowell. And Fast Pasta came up, and every time I hear that, it drives me nuts. Alfredo is not a pasta. It is a sauce. He is the sauce.
Yeah.
Take it. And
me and Alan
Cavana are on this hill. Alan was probably on it before me, but still, it should be the sauce.
Yeah.
Did you see Bowman trying to pit and Alfredo come flying?
Yeah, holy cow, man. That could have been terrible. If that would have been at Kansas, it would have been a wreck, because those are the type of wrecks that happen at Kansas.
Yeah, or if it would have been a faster race car than what the 38 probably can do.
Right.
That probably couldn't have been a problem. I couldn't believe that. That was stunning to see that.
That was something. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. gets an 11th place finish, one spot out of the top 10. It's a good run for him.
JTG had a good day. Ryan Preece again, top 15, another good run. McDowell was not great today, or not great on Sunday, I should say, but still.
He was up there for a bit.
Yep, he was up there. He led some laps on that strategy again, but top 17th place finish, that's great. That team's got, I love the analysis on that though. I mean, they're playing with house money all year long. Mm-hmm. So, he could weird his way into another one of these wins, maybe. I don't know. Pretty cool.
Yep. Corey LaJoy, 37th, second to last, rear end issues for him.
Yeah.
Anything I'm missing?
No, man, I think we covered it all. Great race. Just a great race.
Oh, Daniel Suarez finishes 26th, led 12 laps on the day. Continues to do some interesting things with that team. I think we're finding that, Bubba, I think, is a good example that, as much as everybody wants him to come out and wants Jordan to come out and Denny to come out with a competitive team right off the bat, this isn't somebody switching crew chiefs. This isn't, Tony Stewart jumping into an established team and adding to it. This is a brand new from the ground up team, and it's not going to be that easy to just come in and compete immediately. And I think
he's up there.
He's up there, but I think we forget too that as much as Bubba had, won in the truck series, Bubba's still unproven as well. And as much as we think he's a great driver, he's got to prove himself. And so
you got to break through.
Yep.
You got to break through. Yeah.
And
it's a struggle
hard.
that many
I think Chase Briscoe will tell you it's hard in this series. It's a big step to go from Xfinity to Cup.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. A lot of, I'm pleasantly surprised with the racing that Daniel Suarez is putting together. This might be some of his best work, and he's been in some great seats in the past, but he was gone last year with that Gaunt Brothers car.
Mm-hmm.
So to see them hanging around, he was running pretty good at Homestead too. So just kind of keeping an eye on that Trackhouse team. They've got something going on there where they're better than I thought they would be. Honestly, Eric, I thought that was a 30th place car every week. And they're outperforming what I thought they would do.
Yeah, he was in the only Camping World car in this race, unlike the Truck Series, which had like half the field. All right, let's talk. We'll bump on the other two races really quick. I don't know that there's a whole lot to talk with the Xfinity race. It's a good race. AJ Allmendinger gets the win.
That was cool.
Yeah, excited to see him get the victory and start his way on the potential championship run, or the competing for a championship at least. Good to see AJ. I mean, here's a guy who had the full-time career, had the opportunities, essentially hung it up, did a part-time thing, did TV work, and now is getting another shot at some full-time. And just good to see him performing. And I think he's going to do really well on that team this year. So expecting good things.
He was a little emotional, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. He's, I don't think he's done. I think we're going to see him again in the Cup Series, maybe next year. So
yeah,
I don't think we've seen the last of AJ. He's definitely a title contender with that team right now. That's for dang sure. That was a great run by those guys. Put it together. Cindric had a little interesting incident again. Boy, he's kind of finding his way into some stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit there, but just didn't want to be blocked anymore.
Right.
So that was that. He's been getting blocked all year apparently. So, but yeah, that's a couple of good runs for some guys. Noah Gregson got back into it a little bit here, top 5. So, yeah, Xfinity race is pretty good. Not the truck race though, or excuse me, the Cup race.
Yeah.
The trucks were pretty good too though.
One other one worth mentioning, Ty Dillon gets wrecked because his spotter, Drew Herring, was changing his battery on his radio as Dillon was being passed on the outside. I won't get into it here, but there's some good analysis of this on DBC, so check that out this week. Obviously, the spotter's talking about what it's like to be a spotter, and somebody new to spotting like Drew. And just some interesting takes on it, so worth checking that out.
Is Ty Dillon done?
I don't know. I didn't listen to his whole thing that he put on YouTube, but it sounds like he's having a tough time right now. So
yeah,
it's too bad because the guy is. I love Ty. He's a great guy. Seemed like a happy dude. Got to interact with him a little bit at Michigan a couple years ago, and I don't know. I was really hoping for good things for Ty because
we had some good interaction with him at Eldora too. Remember that was when both Dillon brothers were running the trucks race there. But yeah, I'm worried about his career now. I thought this was gonna be a good year for him to, I don't know, maybe he becomes I'll just be an Xfinity Series lifer, like be a Justin Allgaier. I thought maybe that would be something that he could do, but boy, he's got that Gibbs car and he's not performing, which is a bummer.
And the problem is that it hasn't really been his fault either.
I know it's
kind of gotten in some crap that wasn't his doing, and so
I'd love to see him find a way to win a race. That would be great, but it looks like it's gonna be a tall order for him, which sucks. I hate it for him.
And then the Truck Series, we'll have to spend a little bit of time on this because of the Kyle Busch deal. I want to correct myself. I called it the Buckle Up 200 last week, and it was the Bucked Up 200. John Hunter Nemechek gets the win for KBM. Another emotional victory, and boss man Kyle is pretty proud of the victory as well. Some validation for Kyle, who has kind of argued that team was good enough to be up there contending for wins and hasn't been the past couple seasons. So he put, a Cup driver in that, truck to come out and prove that it can be done. But good on John Hunter. I mean, again, this is a guy who was up in the Cup Series, not doing what he needed to do, just didn't get the opportunities he needed to have. He, even worked his way up to that level, driving for his own family and driving for an underfunded team along the way. Gets to go back and race for KBM and show what he can do. So that's cool. But
by choice too. He's driving that truck because he wants to drive that truck.
Yeah.
So,
yep, it's a cool deal. He was on Moody's show today, talking with Moody, and I don't know. He seems like a good kid. I like John Hunter.
Yeah.
Sure. But so I put in the show notes here that Kyle Busch makes an amazing non-human save with a flat tire at speed on the front stretch, but somehow loses control in quotes and forgets to counter steer on the back stretch on the apron at half speed to spin and bring out the yellow. So let's talk about this because we've got it later in the notes that NASCAR is considering policing this a little bit more. We've seen it before. We saw Bubba do it last year and then announce to everybody that he did it, and NASCAR fined him $50,000. Kyle did not get a penalty from this, but as you heard in the clip at the beginning, Yeah, he did not admit to this, but if you watch the replay, you can see his gloves, and he never turns to the right when that truck is spinning. He full well knew he was going to spin out and bring out the caution.
I'm waiting for you to talk about this, by the way.
So, I guess first of all, let's start with: did Kyle do anything wrong?
Yeah.
So, by the rules, no.
Well. Hold on.
Yeah,
NASCAR has 100%.
that is true. That is true.
Spinning your car out or your truck in this instance out on purpose.
Let me put it this
100%.
way: I am not going to be a homer with Kyle. As far as integrity, he shouldn't have done what he did.
I mean, we've all done it in the video games, though, Kyle. So you're okay, man.
That's true. That being said, Austin Cindric had the same issue in the Xfinity race. Had a flat tire. Did not spin himself out and lucked out and got a caution and a lucky dog because of the caution, and managed to get back on the lead lap and save himself. But I don't know. I don't like that Kyle did it. Now the other question is, should NASCAR police this? What do you think, James? Should NASCAR get in the business of policing this thing?
What are we policing here? Are we looking at data? What are we looking at to make these? This is a judgment call. I don't like judgment calls.
That's my issue. I think that these guys this is an issue. This is one of those things that these drivers need to police themselves. And if Kyle spins himself out on purpose, then Austin Dillon, who's in the booth, should call him out and say he spun out on purpose, which he did. And other drivers should go to Kyle and say, Kyle, come on, you're stinking up the show. Don't do that crap. You look ridiculous. Let the drivers police it. NASCAR shouldn't be in the business of policing.
Maybe we just have a spin rule in NASCAR.
That's the only way to do it is okay, you spin, so you're down a lap, or the caution comes out because of you're down a lap. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he got off without penalty. He still has to start at the back or whatever with.
Yeah, but when you're driving in the Truck Series race and you're Kyle Busch with that truck.
And that's the frustrating thing too is, I mean, you just change the outcome.
Literally playing a video game. I mean, Eric, that's what he's doing when he's driving that truck. He's playing a video game out there. He's faster than everybody else. He's, he can control the race any way he wants.
The move is a very selfish move, and I'm disappointed with them making the move. But I do not think NASCAR. Now that being said, you come off the track and do a TV interview and say you did it on purpose, then NASCAR should find the crap out of you. But as far as determining whether somebody spun out on purpose, no, they shouldn't. I mean, I would even question. I still am not comfortable with, even though there was so much evidence against Clint Boyer back at Bristol or at Richmond way back. I had issue with that. NASCAR shouldn't be policing this stuff. Let it play out.
I wonder. I was hoping to hear more from Clint Boyer on this issue.
Yeah,
he's the most egregious spinner of all time. So
just so happened to not be in the broadcast for that race.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
good on Austin Dillon for calling it out, though.
God. Well, he doesn't care. He doesn't owe Kyle anything. Good for him.
Yeah. So no,
that was good.
I don't think there's a way. NASCAR is not going to win by policing this.
Yeah.
Period.
Plus, you got another part of this is you got a Cup driver affecting a Cup race again in a different way. I mean, I know he's in the series. He gets to race his 5 races a year. That's fine. But
you know what happened, James? He got to make his pit stop, change his tire, come from the back, and he didn't win.
It's exciting. It's exciting as hell to watch.
It was his own team that beat him, but he didn't win.
Yeah. It's exciting to watch him come from the back, though. So more Kyle Busch in the back is always good.
Exactly. I mean, I think we should just throw a caution with 20 to go and put Kyle at the back anyway.
Yeah, good.
There should be a Kyle Busch rule that if Kyle leads more than 50 laps, start him in the back.
Yep.
Or
I like it.
Start, make him start, stopped on pit road at the beginning of these truck races.
Just a classic Kyle Busch moment, by the way.
Yeah.
Just add it to his long list of KFB moments.
KFB.
Yep.
Nope.
All right. Anything else with this one? Again, good race. Plenty of excitement in the Truck Series race, and good to see somebody beat Kyle.
Yeah, that was good. I was really hoping you were going to come in screaming that he didn't spin on purpose.
Oh no,
that was my hope.
It was so obvious, James. He's got white gloves. You can see he doesn't turn right.
It's just great.
You don't make a save at 180 miles an hour on the front stretch as you're turning, and then spin out at half speed on the back stretch. It just doesn't happen.
the same week that he's boasting about his picture at the 2012 Busch Clash or Sprint Unlimited or whatever the heck it was back then. Kyle Busch's car completely sideways on
Right.
the apron and the banking at Daytona. He's bragging about how great that save was, and then he just spins out on the apron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as he did he spin out on purpose?
Nope. Yeah.
So, there you go.
We'll never know.
Yep. Anything else about these races to talk about before we get into the news, James?
I'm looking forward to coming back to Vegas, by the way.
Yeah.
That's about it. That was
Me
good
too.
stuff, man. That was good stuff.
Let me just say that if Phoenix doesn't perform this week, that I'm going to be calling for Vegas to be the season finale in the next couple
Maybe.
years.
I like it.
So I think Vegas, I felt all along that Vegas was being set up to be, when they moved the banquet to Las Vegas, I thought Vegas was being set up to be the
Vegas is
closer.
coming for everybody else's stuff. Yeah.
But now it's all about Nashville, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk about Mike Joy, James.
Oh, so this is my favorite thing that happened.
So I'm curious. I'm looking forward to this discussion because I have some takes on this. So Mike Joy took to Twitter last week, and I'm quite surprised. I went on today, and Mike Joy's sticking to his words. He hasn't deleted the tweet, so good to see that. Good to see him sticking to it. So in the show notes, there's a link to the 3 tweets that he posted in the series. I'm gonna just read the main one, which got everybody excited, which was his second tweet, which he says, "Our sport has always had funded," in quotes, drivers. "But it's high time a few of these privileged kids powered by daddy's pile of cash realize this whole sport doesn't exist just to make their dreams come true. Take some time to learn from those who've worked their way to the top." Now, he doesn't call anybody out specifically in this post, but he did mention David Starr in the previous post, and it's quite obvious he's talking about Noah Gragson in this post.
I love this so much, man.
This is coming from Noah's comments after he wrecked leading with David Starr last week at Homestead. So I don't have an issue with Mike Joy speaking his mind. I'm glad. Well, okay. What's your thoughts on it first, James? Then let me.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I feel like I trend more old school.
Right.
And
do you, okay,
Mike Joy,
so
Mike Joy
not
doing
just
an old guy.
Not just do you like him doing it, but do you agree with his statement?
Oh, I agree with it. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I do. Yep.
Okay, so I'm
100%.
I'm gonna disagree with you, and here's why.
And Eric, listen, I know we live in a different world than what we did when Davey Allison was
right,
up and Rusty Wallace was wrenching on race cars. But damn, it's good to hear. It's good to hear the old boys just come after the young guys every once in a while.
One, Mike Joy, and I know that we've got team owners in the booth on Sundays and Saturday and Friday.
Yes, we do.
And that you can't exactly call everybody objective. But Mike Joy, his job is to commentate and cover these drivers in this sport. And him specifically taking a shot at somebody bothers me a little bit as a journalist who tries not to do this sort of thing. And I know Mike Joy's not a journalist. He doesn't claim to be a journalist. His job is not a journalism job. But he anchors the broadcast every week. And so I have a little bit of an issue of him calling somebody out specifically. So for that, I don't like that he said it. Also, I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying, but the problem is he's calling out one specific driver. And first of all, I have a really hard time going real deep in the garage area, especially in the Cup Series, but throughout the garage area in all 3 series, and finding too many drivers that this wouldn't apply to.
Oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
Secondly, who do you think had a more privileged time coming up through the ranks to get to where they are? Noah Gragson or perhaps Chase Elliott?
I didn't expect you to go there.
I mean, nothing against Chase, but Chase had and the most popular driver of all time in our sport, Dale Jr., did he not have a privileged ride at the top? Yes, Junior had to work for his stuff.
Nepotism is a thing, yes.
Exactly. So I have a hard time going after Noah Gragson, even though Noah Gragson said something stupid, and that's on Gragson. but I have a hard time going after Noah Gragson and not going after the champion of our Cup Series, of our main sport, who falls into the same category.
Oh man, Eric, sometimes you get on your soapbox, man, and I don't know where we're going.
Am
but
I wrong though?
Dang, that was good. What a good take by you. Wow. No, you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
But I
That
mean,
is
seriously,
so
and they talked about this on DBC as well. And actually, the episode this week is titled "Trail of Money." That there's not a Cup driver out there that you can't go and find a trail of money. They all got there with Daddy's money. That's how these guys get here.
Even Davey
Unfortunately,
Allison.
exactly, Davey Allison. Come
He
on.
was wrenching on cars, but you think Davey Allison gets to drive with the last name Smith? If it's Davey Smith, you think he's getting the opportunities afforded to him? No.
Take some of these Cup drivers and go stick them in a late model at your Friday night show at your local short track. And I'm not saying that those drivers are all better because they beat the Cup driver who hasn't been in that type of car in forever. But there's a lot of skill at your local short track as well that could potentially compete with these guys if they ever got the opportunity and the cash behind them. But they're never going to get that opportunity because they don't have the cash. They don't have the funding.
Eric,
you don't get to be a Cup driver without the funding.
Let me introduce you to motorsports.
Right.
That is the world we've always lived in.
It's not just motorsports, though. It's NBA, it's NFL, it's every single freaking sport you can dream of.
Right.
Do some people get to make it from nothing? Yeah, it happens. But is it commonplace? No.
Yeah. And I think less so in motorsports where,
Yeah.
you're you're not born 6'8" like LeBron James,
Well, and Brett Griffin said, he can afford to go and buy a baseball bat and a baseball glove and get his kid to play
Right.
baseball. But can he afford to go buy a go-kart and buy the gas and buy the parts and the tires and all that stuff to get him started in racing? Not necessarily. It's a lot more freaking expensive. I mean, my kids are in hockey and it's outrageous, but it's a lot cheaper than auto racing.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure.
So I don't know. I don't.
Here's the thing I want to.
Noah Gragson said something stupid and he shouldn't have said it.
Yeah, I know, and he's unapologetically
Exactly.
continuing to
That's
be-
the thing is Noah's now sticking to what he
Well,
said,
he's-
which is even
he's just-
dumber.
No, he's just acting like a brat,
He
which
is.
is fine.
So
It's
he's actually.
and that's
I'm arguing for him, but he's now proving
yeah,
Mike
so
Joy's
he's being a
point.
brat. He's being a brat, but that's fine. Like Mike Joy, first of all, I never expected Mike Joy to come on down. And
I was
and
shocked.
It was great. Oh man, I was messaging you guys. I was so excited. I was like, this is the best thing on the internet today. But I just like Eric. I always love the old guy beef when they come in and they're just peacocking their way
Right.
around. That's just how I did it back in my day, and I've always enjoyed that. And I don't know. I tend to just really like the old guys.
Well, yeah, you're one of them. I mean,
I know,
you
I'm
might not be
Larry
old,
David.
but you already are. I mean,
I'm Larry David. I
You are.
understand that. Yeah. But still, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you need somebody. Maybe Mike Joy is not the right messenger, but you need somebody, even maybe like a Dale Jr. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Dale Jr. is his car owner, but you just need guys out there to.
well, and Dale
call
Jr.
BS.
got on him too. I mean, Dale Jr. was hard on him on his podcast.
You
So
gotta call BS on these young bucks every once in a while.
right.
You know, Or else
Noah's
end up
take
like,
on
unless they end up like Kyle Busch.
Noah's take on the situation was wrong. And now let me also argue though that while I would prefer that Mike Joy remains objective and doesn't do this sort of thing, if there's anybody in the industry who has earned the right to do something like this, to post something like this, it's Mike Joy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this isn't just some guy who doesn't know what he's. I mean,
No, he's
Mike Joy's been
yeah.
around the sport forever.
And at the end of the day, Eric, he's in the entertainment game.
Yeah.
So if this helps the broadcast on Sundays, which I don't know if it did, I didn't see this come up, but
Yeah.
so be it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we're here for. So
I think, in as far as I'd like to see these guys remain objective, at the same time, that's just not our world anymore.
yeah.
People don't
Yeah, I
want
mean,
people to
it's-
be objective. People want
and
opinions, so.
you said it, Eric. Look who he stands next to every Sunday.
Yep.
And Jeff Gordon. And
Yeah.
and Jeff Gordon, unfortunately, Jeff Gordon's not going to be in the booth forever. He's going to be running Hendrick Motorsports
Right.
before too long. So
Well, yeah, and I mean
Yeah.
that's the thing is Kyle Larson gets out of the car this weekend and thanks Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon, and Jeff doesn't. Jeff, I give Dale Jr. more credit as far as the integrity from that aspect, because Dale Jr. tries not to do the Xfinity broadcasts, especially in the playoffs, because he doesn't like the conflict of calling the race with his own teams.
I'll never stop Michael Waltrip from getting his face in front of everybody.
Well, integrity. You mentioned the word integrity, and you can't use Michael Waltrip's name in the same sentence.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
No
offense.
There we go.
I love Mikey in his own way, but integrity, not really.
Not the high mark. Yeah, I know.
The cheating his team in NASCAR, I don't know.
And other stuff. That's all we'll say.
Right,
Let's get out of that. Let's get out of here.
Let's move on. So Carl Edwards might run for Senate, James.
This has been rumored forever.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
2017, they talked about it. Now they're talking about it again. I'm not even going to click on the article, but the link's in the show notes if you guys want to read it. Maybe Carl Edwards would be a senator. Who cares?
Carl, I don't know why he wanted. Why? Don't do it, man.
No.
Just enjoy retirement.
Exactly.
You've got all the money in the world.
Forget enjoy retirement. Come back, man. Just come get in a car.
He just doesn't want to be around NASCAR anymore.
Dude, he could come back and he could still win a championship. Come back.
That being said, you've got my Hall of Fame vote, Carl. You come back anytime you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the ballot every year if I ever get a chance.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I miss Carl. Didn't always agree with Carl. Didn't always like Carl, but I miss Carl. He was good for the sport.
Eric, he disappeared, man.
Yeah.
He literally disappeared.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, you get two different types of drivers. You get the Dale Jr. who sticks around. You get the Carl Edwards who you never hear from again. The Cale Yarboroughs, Cale only comes back when people bug him and make him come back.
Hell, Danica Patrick's been to the track more than Carl Edwards.
That's true.
I mean, he's been around.
Yeah.
Not Carl. Yeah. So I don't know.
We talked about the intentional spins. Nashville, Davidson County, and Bristol Motor Speedway have entered into an agreement to renovate the Nashville Fairgrounds and bring NASCAR to the track.
We coming.
Yeah.
It's happening. We'll get there.
Fairboard still has to approve it, so.
It's happening. We're going to be racing at Nashville in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Cup Series will be there.
I agree.
I don't know what this means for Nashville Super Speedway, though, but.
I think
either
that
way.
part of this might be, I think Dirt at Bristol is just another one of those things to lead into this. I think it's just part of the pieces of the puzzle to make this race possible.
Yeah, Bristol's up to stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of stuff. But by the way, Eric, some late model videos at Bristol going on right now.
Nice.
Whoo, boy. They are hauling the mail, dude.
I don't know if the Cup cars are as fast as they are in iRacing at Bristol.
There's
in the dirt.
no way. There's no way. I will. I don't always agree with Jeff Gluck, but there's no way those cars are going to be very fast on that dirt track. And Kevin Harvick said
it'd be the longest dirt race in history.
So good. Yeah. Kevin's grumpy, but that's fine. There'll be a lot of drivers that are grumpy.
I'm telling you, man, this is going to be the best race of the year.
Oh, the Chili Bowl drivers already got wins on the docket this year already with Bell and Larson, so they'll be licking their chops at this one.
Yep, gonna be the best one of the year. You just wait.
Could be.
We'll see. So I threw this in there because I thought it was cool. Busch Beer is doing a contest where the fans can choose the name for the Cup race at Kansas coming up. They have their 4 finalists, and there's only one that should win. So here are the finalists, and you can vote on these. I don't know.
I can't wait to hear you read this last one.
Look up Busch Beer on Twitter and figure out how to vote. I'm not going to give you the instructions. They're not a sponsor. But we have the Busch Latte 400. Lame.
Well, you didn't do a good job selling it.
Yeah. Well, it's not. We have the Nectar of the Cobbs 400. That's a little better. For the Farmers 400. That one sucks. Or the Bushy McBushface Race 400. Which, if that doesn't win this contest is rigged. Come on.
I was excited for you to read that last one. You did it so well.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. I hope so.
Do it for the Farmers, would you?
If you're gonna have a naming contest, the name should be ridiculous. It just should be.
Yeah. Well, it can't be any worse than anything blah 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 Florida Georgia Line at the Brickyard.
You mean such as the Call 811 Before You Dig 200 presented by Arizona 811 this weekend at the Phoenix Raceway for the Xfinity Series?
These race names are getting worse, bud. What happened to the good old Pepsi 400 and Coke 600?
Well, the Instacart 400 is Sunday for the Cup Series.
Bushy McBushface race.
Instacart 500, not 400. It's 500K, guys.
500K
it's kilometers. We do kilometers in Arizona.
So dumb.
Yeah. because we got to make it seem like it's bigger than it is. It's a 312-mile race, guys. Perfect race length, by the way.
Just, yeah.
Every race in the Cup Series should be a 500K. That's all there is to it. All right. Any news I missed, James? I think
we got it.
we stretched this out long enough. Let's get to Phoenix Raceway. We get to make our picks this weekend. Again, the first race we pick is the Xfinity race, the Call 811 Before You Dig 200, presented by Arizona 811. James, you beat me last week.
Another 100-plus point week in the books, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me pull up the old numbers because what the heck do I got
Sheldon
here?
Creed was my worst pick of the week. I was not expecting that.
I can't. What is going on with my...
I got the numbers in front of me if you want me to.
Yeah, read the numbers because my Google Drive is all screwed up for some reason.
So the trucks race, I had Sheldon Creed. You had Ben Rhodes. You beat me there. I had Cindric. You had Gregson and Xfinity.
I was so happy when Cindric got that flat tire. I thought, yes, I got James.
Nope. And then you took Harvick in the Cup race. Sorry, man.
Stupid.
I took Martin Truex Jr. So I ended up with 107. You had 92. But Eric, you know what that means?
What's that mean?
Pick first.
Yes.
Again.
Yes, I do. And I have declared that I'm an idiot. And so I'm going to continue that trend. I'm not going to pick Noah Gragson this week as my Xfinity pick. But I'm also not going to pick the obvious pick, which is Austin Cindric, who won this race.
If Noah Gragson wins this week, I'm going to laugh.
Yeah, he probably will. I'm not going to pick Cindric, who's probably the favorite to win this race. I am struggling because I really would like to go with the guy who has 2 wins here and has the best average finish in Justin Allgaier.
I was looking at him.
But I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go with probably who I think you were going to pick, which is the one that hasn't really shown it, but likely will be a factor, and that's Harrison Burton will be my pick.
Dang,
for this
and
one.
yeah, both of my picks that you were eyeballing there. So I can't keep picking Austin Cindric every single week. Although I'd like to.
You can.
I mean, I can.
It's
but
legal.
I know, but I just think I'm going to take a break from Austin Cindric. I will take. Yeah, I'll. Boy, I was going to take Harrison Burton. You son of a gun. I'll take Justin Allgaier.
Right,
I'll take Justin Allgaier.
It's already typed in. I knew you were going there.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to take him either way, but
it was really tempting. And to be quite honest with you, James, I would almost like to pick him just as a sentimental favorite because I want to see Justin Allgaier win. I like Justin Allgaier a lot.
I'm worried about his performance this season. I think I'm probably going to get beat here. If taking Austin Cindric every single week, I don't know, but just Eric, Eric, you and I can pick Cindric and Burton and every single week, but we gotta mix it up a little bit from time to time. So
yeah.
I'll take Allgaier.
Well, I've suffered with Gregson for 2 weeks, so maybe even 3 weeks. Didn't I pick him at Daytona? I picked him for the.
You've had him 3 times.
Yeah,
I think.
So
yeah. Hold on. Let me pull up the list really quick because I think you have had him 3 times. No, you had Justin Haley, so you've only had Noah twice.
To be fair, Harrison Burton does not have a win
I had
here.
Noah at Daytona. I had him.
That's
so
right. Okay.
Noah's been our pick 3 out of the 4 weeks between the two of us. I've had Cindric twice, and Harrison Burton. I had him once. So
Harrison Burton does not have a win here. He does have 1 top 5 out of 2 races here, though.
Nice.
That being said, the better average finish is AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah, Dinger was. I was looking at that one too.
Dinger's a really good pick.
Yeah.
Brandon Brown has a better average finish here than Harrison Burton.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's run 4 races here, surprisingly.
Yep.
All right. Instacart 500 Cup Series. James, I got to take the obvious favorite. I got to go with Chase Elliott. I don't see any reason that Chase Elliott doesn't repeat what he did here in the fall, where he dominated.
I didn't even have him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's no reason to figure that Hendrick is not going to get another win this weekend with Chase Elliott. So
I was stuck between 2 guys that I liked. I was either going to take Jolo or who I'm actually going to pick. I'm going to take Kyle Larson. I'm going to ride the hot hand.
That's a really good one.
Ride the hot hand.
I guess I didn't even look at the stats just because I was all in on Chase. DBC convinced me this week that I had to pick Chase.
Chase is the best driver.
What's Larson's stats here? Are they good? I don't think they're very good, are they?
his last 2 starts. Now remember, he didn't race in the championship race last year,
Right.
so his last 2 starts, he has an average finish of 4.
Okay.
Average starting position of 4.5, but he's only led 2 laps, so hasn't led a whole lot.
But he's won at
but
Richmond, which is,
Yep.
maybe a similar feel.
Yep, Jolo is probably the better pick here. He's got a win a year ago, 278 laps led. That is the best in the series over the last 3 races. Denny Hamlin's also no slouch here, and we all know Kevin Harvick. He has a history here, but hasn't been. I mean, he's top 5s and top 10s, so he's he's going to be there. But no guarantees for him. But.
Yeah, I thought last week was a guarantee with him. I'm gonna be a little cool on Harvick for a couple weeks.
Anybody who's sneaky here? I mean, Byron's got a nice little record here. DiBenedetto, not too shabby here as well. Kurt Busch also on that list, and anybody from Penske really. Brad Keselowski, obviously, he was second in the championship last year. So there's some guys to kind of keep an eye out as you're looking for like fantasy picks and things like that.
Yeah. It's all right. Chase is going to dominate
don't take
this
it.
thing.
Which this is your transition point here, Eric. Don't take fantasy advice from us.
No, James and I suck at fantasy. I've pretty much declared defeat already. Had the good week and almost finished close second last week, and that was my good performance of the year. And
you're done.
Yeah,
I finished 14th this week, a tie with my buddy Mr. Consistency. So
yeah, I did better than you this week, right?
Oh yeah, by 10 points.
That's scary. If I
beat me
finished
right
above you, you sucked.
I know. It's not great. It's not been great. I'm off to a really rough start. But I'll give our top 3 a shout out here. Rusty W2, a newbie, is the winner, 228. Raging Redneck Racing, another newbie, and then our buddy Todd. Finally, we had some guys get into the 200s. My God, our league.
Well, the thing is, though, is you really can't blame the league because again, this season has been so upside down.
I know. It's throwing me off. Man. New points leader at the top, Raging Redneck Racing. He's up almost 20 on Shut Up Roger and Rusty W2. So some of these newbies, the Raging Redneck and Rusty, they are up there. So they've snuck into our league to take the title and leave. So.
Roger was talking some smack on Facebook this week.
Oh, he was? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I posted something about him being up front, and he told me to get used to it. So.
Oh, well. Let's hold on. Since he's talking smack, let's see where he ended up last week. He did beat both of us.
Yeah.
Finished 6th. So dang, Roger.
There you go. James, you got any shout outs this week?
I do have one. You're gonna hope you're sitting down for this one.
Oh boy.
I finished a show on Netflix last week. Actually, I meant to shout out last week.
Oh no.
I did it. I watched The Crew.
Is it good?
It's okay. I mean, listen, it's got like cheap little laughs. Like I watched it with my wife, and she was laughing.
Okay.
I laughed a little bit. It has some. If you're into NASCAR, I guess it's got some sneaky little laughs in there. Some of the Blaney stuff, if you've seen any of the trailers, the Blaney stuff's actually kind of funny. It's a short show. It's only like 20 minutes long, and it's only 10 or not. I don't even think it's 10 episodes. But yeah, The Crew is. I don't know if I'm even going to recommend you watch it, but I mean,
yeah, I've had zero desire to even look it up.
I don't know. I mean, God, sometimes you just throw stuff on, with your. I don't know, when you're sitting there with your spouse.
I don't do that. I don't watch TV like that. It's 100% or 0 for me.
I have shows that I do that with, but if I'm just farting around, there's some background shows. This is a good and we've got like the baby and stuff, so we've got like farting around time at the house.
No, since DVR and like season passes have become a thing.
Well, it's like
I don't miss episodes of shows.
Yeah, and here's the problem I have. I can't watch really good TV with the baby around.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting down and doing a rewatch on Breaking Bad, or I'm not watching, like right now I'm watching The Nick on HBO Max.
Baby's young enough.
I know, but I can't pay attention. That's the problem.
Oh, okay,
I want to pay attention. So I put it on something like The Crew, which we can just kind of, just laugh. And well, one thing I did want to note though, they have a lot of like stock footage of NASCAR stuff on this show, and a lot of Michigan. Like
really?
Yeah, like the media center, like in the background, and the track. It's a lot of Michigan. I was like, oh, that's cool. We got a lot of like, Michigan shout outs, but it's not like a
Well,
realistic.
didn't
take
Kevin
on
James, one of his Gentlemen Start Your Engines, was at Michigan, wasn't
I was there for that one with
Yeah.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked that one up. Holy smokes,
he? Yeah.
that was something.
I had a sound pack for NASCAR 2003 with different Gentlemen Start Your Engine or different commands, and that was one of them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Every once in a while, my race would start, and it would be them too, giving the command.
I was there for that. That was something else, man. Never thought I'd be that close to Adam Sandler in my entire life, but there he was.
Yeah. Imagine
Doing the
if you would have been doing media at the time. Could have been right in the media center with him.
Could have been hanging out with the Sandman.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't have any shout outs this week. I don't really have anything to shout out.
Oh, we're gonna limp out of here with the crew, eh? All right.
Yeah, I guess that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the big one this week.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's something else that jumped out at me, but not really.
The Formula One show on Netflix is coming out. If you want to watch really good TV,
Yeah.
the Formula One show is coming back. I think this week or next week.
I
which
think
I
I'm
love
still
that show.
halfway through the
Oh, it's so
second
good.
season of it.
For someone like me who is like I'm interested in F1 but just don't have time to watch a whole lot of F1, that's a good show. If you're a casual racing fan, I mean, if you like this podcast or if you like NASCAR and you want to just get a taste of F1, this is a nice complimentary show to get you into the world of F1. I really like it.
That's cool.
On Netflix.
I'm trying to find. Okay, NFJJ on YouTube. That'll be my shout out this week. Posts a lot of crash videos. If you're someone like me who likes NASCAR crash compilations, it's some good stuff. And he does the worst crashes at different tracks. And he just posted a video worst NASCAR crashes at Kansas. And it just reminds you of how insane that track is and how crazy of wrecks have happened at Kansas.
Yeah. Kansas is nuts.
Cars upside down, cars almost flipping. There's been some good wrecks at Kansas. And so, yeah, check him out if you like NASCAR crash compilations. It's a pretty good one.
Kansas is nuts. Yeah, Kansas is nuts.
Yep. With that, James, where can people find you on social media if they want to chat with you during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find show notes, links to the articles we discussed in the episode, links to past episodes, old race coverage, photos, etc., all that stuff. You can find the podcast on there as well. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Wherever you found us today, we hope you subscribe and continue to listen. And if you want to help out the show, you can become a patron at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. That's it. We leave Las Vegas in the rearview mirror. We continue the West Coast swing with Phoenix Raceway. Although if you watch Fox, you wouldn't know there were races coming up other than the Bristol Dirt Race, but there are. And so we'll watch the race at Phoenix this weekend. We'll be back next week to discuss it all and break it all down. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.